It's time for some Combat Patrol. Hey, what's up everyone? Propane here, I'm back with another special video for y'all. Today's video is our first ever 40k battle report. This match will be a game of Combat Patrol between Death Guard and the Space Marines. Alright, without too much explanation, let's do a quick game overview. We are playing the Clash of Patrols mission. We have 4 objectives on the board, and players earn victory points by holding the objectives. The game only lasts 5 turns, and a player wins by having the most points at the end of the game, or by wiping the other player's army. In today's matchup, we're playing with light rules for Combat Patrol. These are slight rule changes I made in order to make this easier to play for newcomers, like my friends. We will not be using battle shock tests and no general stratagems except for the command reroll. These light rules don't make the game more balanced. They just make it easier to teach to a new player. Now, no game can start until we have our background story. Papa Nurgle is wildin' out today, and he sent the Death Guard to spread his gifts. With their goal set on turning a vital Imperial planet into a plague world, an Ultramarine force has been called upon to stop this. The entire fate of this distant Imperial planet is tied to the outcome of this final skirmish. Can Typhus spread Papa Nurgle's gifts, or will the Ultramarine force put a stop to this diseased incursion? The miniatures we're using today are a mix of GW plastic, FDM printed, and resin printed models. Now I do own the Space Marine Combat Patrol in GW plastic, but I decided let's throw a couple of FDM prints in the mix. Hey, real quick, I got my first line of merch out now! If you like cool shirts like this one, why not click down below, browse some merch. Buy it or don't, either way, you're still cool to me.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Alright, before we can start, let's roll to see who deploys first. Space Marines have won the roll and will deploy first.
I would usually deep strike these boys, but I feel like every time I do that I just blunder. Alright.
Next, we roll to see who starts first. Space Marines win the roll again, but choose to start second. Let's get started. Alright, the Stinky Squad is starting first. Thanks to their Nurgle's gift, they currently have Stinky Aura of 3 inches. This gives them a -1 AP, and will grow 3 inches every turn up to a max of 9. The Poxwalkers are on the move towards an objective, and so is Typhus and Gang. The Plague Marines also creep up to their own objective. Death Guard will start their shooting phase, and the Plague Marines target the Terminator Squad. During all the shooting, everything missed or was saved.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Except for 1 lone hit for 2 damage. That wraps up Death Guard's opening turn. Now, it's Space Marines' turn 1. We start with our Oath target being picked. We'll be targeting the Plague Marines. This will give us rerolls on the hits. Space Marines are going to move up, with everyone going for their own separate objective. And Furnace Marines are able to reach the first objective, but the Terminators were just a little too slow. For the shooting phase, my Terminator squad is putting all their guns into the Plague Marines, which are also my Oath target. Perfect. With my rerolls, I'm only able to take out 1 Plague Marine and the hail of gunfire.
Storm Bolter's going out. Oh no!
My Furnace Marines are just out of range, so no pyro action this round. And my Librarian gets some shots off on the Poxwalkers, destroying 4 models in the process. That wraps up turn 1, and both armies only hold 1 objective each. Alright, it's turn 2, so Death Guard is awarded their victory points for the objectives they hold. With 1 objective secured, they get 5 points. The Stinky Aura of the Death Guard has increased to 6 inches, and the Bubonic Boys are on the move looking for those sweet, sweet objectives. We've got a sea of Poxwalkers coming down the middle, led by the big man Typhus. And the Plague Marines get closer to the Terminators, but not too close it seems. Death Guard starts their shooting phase and targets the Terminator squad with their Plague Marines. The Plague Spewer and Blight Launcher end up destroying 1 Terminator and wounds another. But the hail of Plague Bolters failed to do any damage.
Damn.
That wraps up Death Guard's second turn. It's turn 2 for the Space Marines. We'll be picking our Oath target to be the Plague Marines again, and we are awarded 5 victory points for the 1 objective we hold. My Captain and Terminator squad are going to move up and take the objective. My Furnace Marines are going to pull back slightly, but still hold the objective. Now, put a pin in this moment, because I think this was the pivotal point of the game, so we'll come back on this later. And my Librarian is going to move up and move the other objective. For the shooting phase, my Terminator squad targets the Plague Marines.
But refreshing Vila. Okay.
Even with my O3 rolls, I'm still only able to destroy one Plague Marine. Things are not looking good if I can't land these wounds. My Infernus Marines finally get to light the table up and are able to burn away 7 Poxwalkers from Typhus's party.
Oof.
And to wrap up the shooting, my Librarian was only able to take out 2 Poxwalkers. That wraps up turn 2. Death Guard holds 1 objective, Space Marines hold 3 objectives. Let's see how this plays out, folks. Alright, turn 3. Death Guard holds 1 objective and is awarded 5 victory points for a total of 10. Now that it's turn 3, the Gross Gang has a maximum stinky aura of 9 inches now. Death Guard will also use their Walking Plague enhancement and rolls to restore destroyed Poxwalkers. 4 Poxwalkers restored. For the movement phase, Death Guard pushes their Poxwalkers towards the objective, with Typhus leading the center. The Plague Marines creep up on the Terminators, but keep their distance for now. For the shooting phase, the Plague Marines open fire on the Terminators. All the special weapons miss, but the Plague Bolters end up destroying one Terminator and wounding another. That Nurgle's gift is really starting to affect the Space Marine saves. Now, it's scary time. Charge time. Typhus makes his 2-inch charge and engages with the Infernus Marines. The other Poxwalkers charge the Librarian. Using his strike melee attack, Typhus lands 4 hits of 3 damage each. That means 4 Blueberry Boys were destroyed in a blink of an eye. Very lore accurate Typhus. That leaves the Infernus Sergeant left to defend against the Poxwalkers melee, and he fails to defend himself.
How embarrassing. Killed by Poxwalkers.
That's right, that was an instant squad wipe, all caused by this stinky boy Typhus. Death Guard actually gets 2 victory points for this due to their Spread the Blight secondary objective, putting them at 12 victory points. This really changes the mood of the game. Let's see if the Space Marines can pull it together. The other Poxwalkers failed to land any melee wounds. The Librarian manages to destroy 2 Poxwalkers during the counter. And that wraps up Death Guard's turn 3.
Be sure to visit your local library.
Alright, Space Marines will start their turn 3 between a rock and a hard place. I'm picking the Plague Marines as the Oath target again, and since I hold 2 objectives, I'm getting 10 victory points, putting me at a total of 15. Space Marines may have more victory points, but the momentum is definitely in Death Guard's favor. Let's see if the Space Marines can pull this off. Skipping the movement phase, Space Marines will be shooting the Plague Marines with the Terminator squad. And once again, everything is saved. Not a single Space Marine shot lands, and the Stinky squad stays chillin'. My Librarian gets active in the combat phase and destroys the last 2 Poxwalkers with ease. This wraps up the end of turn 3. It's the start of turn 4, and the Death Guard holds 2 objectives. Space Marines are struggling to hold their own 2 objectives as well. Now, bit of a side note, it's at this point in the game I realized Poxwalkers are not battle line tagged, and therefore are not sticky to objectives. I led my opponent astray with false information. If he knew, these Poxwalkers would still be on the objective, so in my head, he still holds this objective. Death Guard is awarded 10 victory points for their objectives, putting their score at 22 victory points. For the movement phase, Death Guard is going to move Typhus towards the Terminator squad, getting him closer for an easier charge. The Plague Marines open fire again on the Terminators. This time, they're able to destroy 2 Terminators.
Oh no.
With only 2 models left in the Terminator squad, with Typhus charging the Terminator's flank, the Plague Marines charge in. It's the ultimate flanking attack. Let's see if the Blueberry Boys can survive this onslaught. Melee attack after melee attack. The Terminator Sergeant is destroyed, and the Captain is hanging on for life with 2 out of his 6 wounds remaining. Things are looking dire for the Space Marines on their turn 4 start. I only hold 1 objective at this point, so I'm awarded 5 victory points for a total of 20. Death Guard officially has the lead in terms of points. At this point, I know I've lost, and it's going to take a dice miracle to get a win by score. I'm fully tilted at this point, and my strategy head is spinning. I open my Codex Astartes for what to do next, and the only page I could find was the Hail Mary plan. At the time, I thought I had a slim to none chance, points-wise, to tie things up. I thought maybe I could sticky this objective, move my Librarian, and if I made a 5+ on an advance roll, I could make it to the next objective. this would give me a chance, I mean just a chance, to tie things up. Well, first off, I forgot about the 2 victory point lead Death Guard had from scoring their secondary objective. And second off, I failed to make the advance roll. So that's how turn 4 ended. My librarian failed to sprint his heavy robot self to the next objective, and my captain got murked in combat. Cause sometimes, you just gotta go out in a blaze of glory. It's at this point we call it the match, with a score of 22-20 Death Guard. Had turn 5 happened without any big ruckus, the official score would have been 32-25 Death Guard. The Space Marine forces failed to prevent Typhus and gang from spreading Papa Nurgle's gifts. Now we have to mark this planet as trash on the Imperium record, and order up that exterminatus. This match was tons of fun and felt like an interesting but equal matchup in terms of combat patrol. Not all of the boxes are truly equal when facing each other, but this match felt way more balanced than, say, the Tyranid combat patrol against the Space Marines. As soon as we finished the match, I knew what I could have done differently that may have changed things. Remember that pin this moment thought in turn 2? Put a pin in this moment. I feel like if I just stickied that objective, pulled back with my Infernus Marines to anticipate Typhus, the Flame Boys could have lasted a turn or two longer and pulled Typhus down the middle away from everyone else. Also, another blunder of mine is that I didn't sticky the Terminator's objective and make them charge the Plague Marines. Maybe those Power Fists would have shredded the Stink Squad, but hey, that's just part of the game. Making mistakes and fixing them later. Overall, I had a blast playing and filming this.
My dad!
Oh no.
And if you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to join our Discord, and as always, thanks for watching.